Thank you, Program Director, Mr. Peter Ndoro, our Deputy Minister, Tutuz Manana, and our Director General, Gwebs Konde, Tamiga Plache, representing the SAPC, Ryland Fisher of the New Age, and Mafiga Mkwanazi, the Chair of Transnet, honorable guests, and all the constituencies that are represented here, distinguished guests with us here today, viewers of Morning Live, ladies and gentlemen and comrades. In case there are those, Peter, who are uncomfortable as I step up onto the podium, I won't talk about the PSL results over this week. In South Africa today, we have about 3 million young people between the ages of 18 and 24 who are not in employment, education, or training. For many of them, if they cannot get a job or some type of formal learning, at this stage of their lives, they are unlikely ever to be able to get into the labor market and earn a sustainable living for themselves. This is indeed a huge waste of the potential of our youth and must be tackled as a matter of urgency. That is why I appreciate this invitation and this platform to address these and other related issues today. Preparing youth for the workplace and for life as knowledgeable and responsible citizens is largely the responsibility of the Department of Higher Education and Training. I'm glad, Peter, you are emphasizing that. This responsibility is shared by a range of educational, regulatory, and funding institutions which we refer to collectively as the post-school system. These include universities, colleges of various types, adult education centers, sector education and training authorities known as the SETAs, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, and the various qualification and quality assurance institutions responsible for this post-school education and training landscape. In addition, many workplaces to which young people are attached as apprentices, learners, interns, or articled clerks also constitute part of the post-school system, and we must not forget this, usually operating in partnership with educational institutions to ensure learning opportunities. My department has been working hard to expand learning opportunities, especially but not only for the youth, and to improve its quality. Loans and bursaries to poor students from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme have been expanded substantially over the last 3 years. Funds made available to students grew from 2.3 billion rands in 2008 to 6 billion rands in 2011 and are expected to continue growing. This is one of the biggest increases we've actually ever had since we introduced the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. National Skills Funds have also been made available for special purposes, such as 50 million rands for postgraduate scholarships, 63 million rands for students with disabilities, 350 million rands for poor continuing students who were unable to register due to outstanding debt and insufficient funding in 2012. Finally, undergraduate students who receive the National Student Financial Aid Scheme bursary or loan are being given loans equivalent to the full cost of study, which will be converted into a full bursary if they complete their studies successfully. We intend to extend this arrangement progressively to students in earlier years in future. We also aim to expand university enrollment by approximately 70% by 2030. Apart from increasing enrollments at many of the existing institutions, we will also need to build new universities and campuses. 2 new universities, one in the Northern Cape, with its main campus to be in Kimberley, and one in Mpumalanga, whose main campus will be in Nelspruit, are now in the planning stage, and we expect to start the first academic programs there by 2014. At the beginning of last year, we introduced fee-free education for poor students at FET colleges. This very important achievement has helped to expand enrollments from a headcount enrollment of approximately 327,000 to a projected 550,000 in just the last 2 years. President Zuma addressed the principals of all FET colleges earlier this year to emphasize the high priority that government places on developing these colleges as places to produce artisans and other mid-level skills. By 2030, we expect to increase to 4 million enrollments in all non-university post-school institutions. This will be, we hope, about 3 times the number of students who are at university, which is the opposite at the moment, the opposite situation. And we want to invert that so that we've got 3 times more students in our colleges than in universities, if we are to absorb these youngsters, amongst other things that I was talking about. These will include colleges owned by other government departments such as nursing, agriculture, police, and other colleges. It will also include a new institutional type that we are provisionally calling community education and training centers, as well as private institutions. Enrollments in 2030 will give us a participation rate of about 23% in universities and approximately 60% in other post-school institutions. An important role in expanding both university and college education enrollments will be played by distance education and the use of information and communications technology. We do intend to expand distance because we cannot be able to respond to the challenge only through contact institutions. Also important in the provision of opportunities is the recognition of the capabilities and skills of those who have learned through on-the-job experience. Under apartheid, many black workers in particular learned to do the jobs of the white artisans that they were ostensibly assisting. Their skills, however, were not recognized. Recognition of prior learning, RPL as it is known, is now being taken very seriously so that such workers will be able to augment their practical knowledge with theory and obtain formal qualifications. That's what our department also wants to do. A very important goal for us is to ensure that the entire post-school system operates in a unified manner with cooperation and coordination between its different elements. Universities, especially universities of technology, the former technicons, will be expected to play an important part in training FET college lecturers. The university system will have to assist to make it easier for FET college graduates to enter universities and especially universities of technology. In other words, if we have done a certificate or a diploma in an FET college and you want to proceed to a university, what we have done in the college will have to be recognized. You can't start from scratch in the same field as if we have not done it before. The SETAs are now starting to work more closely with the public FET colleges and some universities to fund skills development programs of various types. The SETAs, which have contacts with most employers, are well placed to assist the colleges and universities of technology to ensure that students find opportunities for work integrated learning in public and private sector workplaces. They are also being required to assist, this is very important, with the placement of graduates from post-school institutions in jobs. We are restructuring the SETAs to play this role effectively. This is a very important function, especially for black graduates. Recent research shows that black graduates find it a lot more difficult to find employment than their white counterparts. Recent research, for instance, shows that 55% of black graduates from Stellenbosch University are unlikely to get a job in their first year after graduation, compared to 12% of whites from the same university. Similarly, from WITS, 29% of black graduates do not get jobs, compared to only 7% of whites. We don't have similar statistics for college graduates, but possibly the situation is likely to be the same, as also most black youngsters do not have the family and other connections to the labor market enjoyed by whites and the few more affluent blacks. We are currently, for instance, investigating the modalities of introducing compulsory community service for all university graduates. That will go some way, we hope, in addressing this problem. Increasing opportunities for young people to access educational institutions, while important, is not enough. We have made interventions in some universities which have faced problems in order to stabilize them. In colleges, we are making major interventions to improve the quality of learning and attract students to these colleges. I have just signed agreements with all the FET college principals for the allocation of 2.5 billion rands from the National Skills Fund for the expansion and capacity building of these colleges. Interventions are being made to ensure that these institutions are strengthened, quality of teaching improved, adequate facilities and equipment are available in all colleges, and that student support services are augmented. I'm very pleased to say that, with the assistance of the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, we have started a process to ensure that all FET colleges have CAs as chief financial officers. This, in essence, means we are actually having retired CAs who are still fresh to help us. We are done now almost with 3 provinces, and by the end of the month, all FET colleges who did not have qualified CFOs will have them. We started this process some 2 months ago, as I have said, and we hope that this will have a positive impact on the colleges to ensure also that they become stronger institutions. Last year, this is now one of the most important things that I hope we can focus on during this discussion at this gathering. Last year, the National Skills Accord was signed by all the network partners, government, business, labor, and community organizations. The agreements included these things. Government and business and labor made commitments to expand training using existing facilities. Government and business also pledged to improve the funding of training as well as the use of funds and incentives available for that. They also agreed to increase the number of apprenticeships, learnerships, and internships in both the public and private sectors, with specific numerical targets agreed upon. A central role in this regard is to be played by the state-owned enterprises. I'm glad Transnet is part of this breakfast. Government has committed to set annual training targets for all state-owned enterprises, as well as to expand training opportunities within the public sector. In the National Skills Accord, all parties further agreed to improve SETA governance and financial management, as well as stakeholder involvement in the SETAs. They agreed that industrial training should be linked more strongly to the new growth path and the needs of particular sectors. The sector skills plans developed by the SETAs should support growth and jobs in the sectors by ensuring relevant skills are developed and by significantly stepping up production of key skills. Government, with the assistance of business, committed itself to improving the quality of education offered in FET colleges, which is what we are doing with what I was indicating earlier. Enhancing the responsiveness of training programs to labor market needs and funding the FET colleges adequately. Business also committed to providing more opportunities not only for students to get work experience, but also for FET college lecturers to get workplace exposure in order to keep up with and be trained in the latest technological innovations and trends. I always say this, Peter, that for those of my age, if you are a lecturer at an FET college today, you can't be teaching WordPerfect 4.1, which is what I started with, because you are actually training those students for unemployment. Organized labor, well, those who know WordPerfect 4.1, I'm sure I can see quite a number of them. Organized labor and government agreed that not all trainees will become employees in the company concerned, and a distinction will be drawn between trainees and employees for purposes of establishing who is entitled to collective bargaining entitlements. As a department, we've adopted the slogan, turning every workplace into a training space. With this, we want to make an appeal today to the country, to yourselves, everybody, especially to employers and trade unions, to help make this slogan into a reality. I always say to employers, you come and complain to me and say, but your graduates you are producing are not good, especially from colleges. I always retort back to business and say, by the way, the quality of our college graduates are as good as your willingness to open your workplaces for those graduates to get workplace experience. With government's infrastructure, we are also expecting as government, and we're going to be pushing very hard, that there's no free tender. Every tender you get as a company must also be accompanied by commitment to use infrastructure spend as a training ground so that we produce the many artisans, technicians, and professionals that we need as a country. In conclusion, Program Director, let me state my belief that if all of us, education institutions, the SETAs, employers, workers, professionals, and government work together, we can create a system that provides the skills that the country needs to strengthen its economy and provide the education and training that our people need to expand their life opportunities and make a better life for all. As you have said, Peter, no one from today will call my department Department of Higher Education. It's Department of Higher Education and Training. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, on your behalf, I'd just like to thank the Minister.